When a 3-year-old girl was called to the witness stand, no one expected her to speak at all. But when she looked into the eyes of the police dog beside her and began to speak, what she said next changed the entire case in an instant. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The small-town courthouse had never been so full. Wooden benches creaked under the weight of reporters, curious locals, and family members waiting to hear the outcome of a case that had gripped the community for months. At the center of it all was a 3-year-old girl, tiny, fragile, and holding a secret only she could tell. Her testimony could decide the case, but everyone knew how daunting this environment would be for someone so young. Near the witness stand, a large German shepherd named Rex lay quietly on the floor. His sleek black and tan coat gleamed under the lights, his head resting on his paws. Rex wasn't there as evidence. He was part of the court's comfort dog program, trained to ease the anxiety of vulnerable witnesses. Whispers rippled through the crowd as the bailiff called for order. The trial was about to resume, and the little girl would soon be let in. Outside, camera shutters clicked, but inside, the air felt still, waiting. No one could have guessed that the quiet bond between a child and a dog was about to change everything. The heavy courtroom doors swung open, and all heads turned. A petite figure in a pale blue dress stepped inside, her small hand wrapped tightly around her mother's. The 3-year-old's wide eyes scanned the room, lingering on the rows of unfamiliar faces. She clutched a worn, stuffed rabbit to her chest, holding it like a shield. Her mother bent down, whispering something in her ear before guiding her toward the witness stand. Each step seemed an effort, her tiny shoes tapping softly against the wooden floor. The murmurs in the gallery died to complete silence. Near the stand, Rex stirred. The German shepherd lifted his head, his dark eyes following the little girl's every move. His tail gave a slow, reassuring wag, as if sensing her fear. When she reached the chair, the bailiff gently helped her climb up. But instead of looking at the judge or the attorneys, she tilted her head toward the floor, toward Rex. Her gaze locked on him, her expression softening ever so slightly. The judge glanced at the handler, who gave a subtle nod. Rex lay still, but his presence was undeniable. In that tense, silent moment, a connection had been made, one that would soon prove crucial. Judge Harris adjusted his glasses, leaning forward slightly. His voice was gentle but firm. "Sweetheart, can you tell us your name?" The little girl's fingers tightened around her stuffed rabbit. She kept her eyes fixed on the floor, her lips pressed into a thin line. The silence stretched, thick and uncomfortable. Across the room, the prosecutor shifted in his seat, glancing at the defense table. This child's testimony was critical. They all knew it. Without it, the case might crumble. Judge Harris tried again. "It's okay. You're safe here. We just need to hear what you have to say." Still nothing. The little girl's small shoulders hunched as if the weight of the entire room was pressing down on her. The judge exchanged a look with the bailiff, then turned to the handler standing quietly beside Rex. "Perhaps she can spend a moment with the dog," he suggested. "It might help her feel more comfortable." The handler knelt, patting Rex's side. The German shepherd rose gracefully and padded closer to the stand. The girl's eyes finally lifted, just slightly, catching sight of him. For the first time since she entered, her posture eased, just a little. The wall she had built around herself began to crack. Rex settled beside the witness stand, his large frame a steady presence against the polished wood. The little girl glanced at the judge, then back to the German shepherd, as if silently asking permission. The handler smiled and gave a small nod. Slowly, she leaned forward, her tiny hand reaching out to rest on Rex's head. His fur was warm under her fingers, and he stayed perfectly still, only his tail giving a slow, reassuring wag. The courtroom seemed to fade away. No stern faces, no towering benches, just a child and a dog in their own quiet world. She leaned closer, pressing her lips near his ear. At first, her words were inaudible, just a faint murmur. The handler crouched nearby. "It's okay," he said softly. "You can tell Rex what happened." Something in that moment shifted. The little girl took a breath, her voice just above a whisper. "I saw it all," she said, eyes still locked on Rex. She began to speak in halting sentences, her hand never leaving his fur. The stuffed rabbit lay forgotten on her lap. No one interrupted. Every ear strained to catch her words, knowing that whatever she told the dog might be the key to unlocking the truth. The court stenographer's fingers hovered over the keys, ready. The handler gently moved closer, his voice calm. "Go ahead, sweetheart. Just keep talking to Rex." The little girl's gaze never left the dog. She stroked his fur in slow, steady motions, her voice trembling at first, but growing steadier with each word. "I was in the kitchen and I heard yelling," she began. "I saw." Her small brow furrowed as she tried to remember every detail. The courtroom was utterly silent except for her voice. Even the judge leaned forward, listening. Rex didn't move a muscle, his eyes soft and attentive as if he understood every word. She told the story piece by piece, where she had been standing, what she saw through the doorway, what the voices said. Each detail seemed to lift a weight off her little shoulders. By the time she finished, her hand was buried deep in Rex's fur, her breathing calmer. She gave him a tiny smile. "I told you everything." The handler nodded toward the judge. "Your Honor, her words have been recorded in full." A murmur rippled through the courtroom. No one had expected the truth to come this way, but no one could deny they had just heard it. When the little girl's final words faded, the silence in the courtroom lingered. Jurors exchanged glances, some visibly moved. A few in the gallery dabbed at their eyes. It wasn't just what she had said, it was how she had said it with the raw honesty only a child could carry. The prosecutor rose slowly. "Your Honor, the witness has given her full account. We ask that her testimony be entered as presented." Before Judge Harris could respond, the defense attorney stood. "Objection." She wasn't speaking directly to the court, and, overruled, Judge Harris said firmly. "The record is clear." The little girl slid off the witness chair, still holding her stuffed rabbit, but before she stepped down, she wrapped her arms around Rex's neck in a tight hug. The German Shepherd stayed perfectly still, tail swishing gently. The handler gave a respectful nod to the judge before leading Rex back to his place. The mood in the room had shifted. The air felt lighter, yet more serious. Everyone knew what they'd just witnessed wasn't ordinary testimony. It was a rare, unguarded moment of truth, delivered not to the people in the room, but to the only one the little girl truly trusted. Closing arguments carried a different weight now. The prosecutor spoke with quiet confidence, weaving the little girl's words into the narrative of the case. The defense countered, but their tone lacked the same conviction. Everyone in the room knew the testimony had changed the atmosphere completely. The jury filed out to deliberate, leaving the courtroom in a tense hush. Minutes stretched into hours, the sound of the clock on the wall marking each second. Rex lay calmly by his handler's side, unaware of the human stakes, yet somehow radiating reassurance. Finally, the bailiff's voice rang out. "All rise." The jury returned, their expressions solemn but resolute. The foreperson handed the verdict slip to the judge, who scanned it before reading aloud. "We, the jury, find the defendant guilty on all counts." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. The little girl's family clutched one another, tears streaming down their faces. Judge Harris looked toward Rex. "The court thanks this service dog for his role in helping bring the truth to light." The handler smiled, giving Rex a proud pat. For the first time that day, the German Shepherd's tail thumped against the floor, a quiet punctuation to the justice they had just witnessed. The story didn't end when the gavel fell. A local reporter who had been present in the courtroom wrote an article that night titled "Truth Through a Dog's Ears." By morning, it had spread far beyond the small town, shared thousands of times on social media. The girl's family issued a short statement thanking the court, the prosecutor, and most of all Rex and his handler. "He made her feel safe enough to speak," her mother wrote. "Without him, we don't know if the truth would have ever come out." As the crowd applauded, Rex sat patiently, soaking in the affection. He didn't know he had helped change the course of justice, only that his friend was smiling, and that was enough. If you were moved by this incredible story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay with us for more heartwarming and unbelievable stories.